In football, strikers are the arch nemesis of defenders. These two sets of players are like sworn enemies on the field. The striker's main gig, slamming the ball right into the back of the defender's net, leaving them all salty, and that's where they have beef. And naturally, the more skilled, prolific, and intimidating a striker is, the more scared and terrified the defenders are. And when we talk about intimidating and fearsome strikers, you just cannot paint a more perfect picture than Zlatan Ibrahimovic. This Swedish giant has been terrorizing defenders for over 2 decades now, and he's still not done. And it's not just because he scores goals. Nah, his mere presence sends chills down the spines of any defender he meets. But what makes defenders lose their minds when facing Zlatan? I mean, defenders wet their pants and get drenched in sweat before the game even starts. Well, I guess you can say it's all because he is, simply put, intimidatingly unstoppable. First, let's talk about his footballing ability. I'm telling you, Zlatan will find that net no matter how tight or good the defense is. This guy has almost 600 career goals to his name, and among footballers who are still active, he is the 4th highest goal scorer of all time. ESPN summed it up perfectly. Zlatan's got it all. He's good in the air, quick, towering, strong and agile. He's got skills for days. This dude can play with his back to the goal like a boss, and his finishing, vision, passing and ball control are completely out of this world. I'm telling you, he'll score from literally anywhere on that pitch, anywhere. From 6 yards out, 12, 18, 25, and even 30 yards out with an overhead kick like he did against England. What a guy, man! How the hell will you see that and not be terrified? But apart from his insane skills, one thing that makes defenders so scared of Zlatan is his ego. The Swede has got perhaps the biggest ego we have ever seen in football. The man believes he can do anything. I mean, back when he was at United, he got asked who he thought the best strikers in the Premier League were. He mentioned a couple names but left himself out. Why? Because in his words, lions don't compare themselves with humans. When he moved to the MLS to join LA Galaxy in 2018, he took a whole page in the LA Times, and all he wrote was Los Angeles, you're welcome. And when he was leaving in 2019, he said on his Twitter, "You wanted Zlatan. I gave you Zlatan. You are welcome." The story continues now. Go back to watch baseball. When he clashed with Lukaku in that infamous Milan derby in 2021, he allegedly called the former Everton striker a donkey and told him to go call his mom. Even his own wife is not safe. When he was asked what he'd get her for her birthday, he replied nothing. She already has Zlatan. He calls himself a god, almost always refers to himself in the third person, and always believes he is the best. And you know what the craziest thing is? He always backs up his talk. But skills and ego aside, the man is just physically intimidating. Like, even without him doing or saying anything, the mere sight of this giant of a man is enough to strike fear into the heart of anybody. He is a 6'5" giant with a menacing look, and his hair is always laid back like a Viking. It's very normal for anybody to feel terrified when someone built like that is approaching them. And to cap it all off, he is very athletic and even has a black belt in Taekwondo. I'm sure defenders have it at the back of their minds that if he ever wants to put them down, he'd do it with so much ease. I mean, you look at the way he strikes the ball, the way he twists and contorts his body to hit it really hard. And you just know not to ever step on his toes, because just imagine Zlatan going for a scissor kick or a kung fu kick, except that the target is your head and not the ball. Isn't that terrifying? Finally, one thing is for sure, defenders are scared of the 41-year-old because of the things they have seen and the stories they have heard. Way back when Zlatan was tearing it up for Malmö's junior team, things got really heated during a training session. A teammate tackled him and Zlatan wasn't having it at all. He went straight to the dude and planted his head in his torso. Mind you, Zlatan was still largely unknown at this time. And get this, the teammate's father, who happened to be a police officer, wanted the whole squad to sign a petition to kick Zlatan out of the team immediately, but of course, that didn't happen. This is Zlatan. He is untouchable. Fast forward to 2004. After an international friendly against the Netherlands, Zlatan's Ajax teammate Rafael van der Vaart went public, accusing Zlatan of intentionally injuring him during the game. And you know what Zlatan did? While fans were still asking if it was true, Zlatan doubled down and threatened to break both of van der Vaart's legs. If the man was doing this to his own teammates, with whom he trains and shares dressing rooms, how much more will he do to opponents who he doesn't even know or care about? Oh, and by the way, it's not just players who are terrified of him. Coaches are too, even the best ones. During his time at Barcelona, Zlatan clashed with the head coach, Pep Guardiola, and even once threw a training kit at the gaffer in the dressing room. Their relationship got so toxic that Guardiola straight up stopped talking to Zlatan and sent him on loan to Milan. At first, we thought it was Pep's call to send Zlatan away, but after the move to Milan was finalized, we found out from Barcelona's vice president that the deal was stalling before Zlatan threatened to publicly beat up Guardiola if he wasn't released to Milan. And trust me, it wasn't all just threats. Zlatan would actually beat you up if you dared to test him, and you can ask his former teammate, Oguchi Onyewu, if you doubt me. In 2010, while playing for Milan, Zlatan got into a fistfight with Oguchi during training. The entire training session had to be abandoned because of the clash. Now, after hearing all of this, tell me you don't understand why opposing defenders are terrified of Zlatan. He has thrown punches, slaps, and even kicked opponents during live football games. In March 2011, he punched Bori's Marco Rossi in the stomach. In February 2012, he slapped Napoli's Salvatore Aronica. In November 2012, he kicked St. Etienne's Stéphane Ruffier in the chest. In December 2012, Lyons' Dejan Lovren accused him of intentionally stamping on his head, and he went ahead to say that Zlatan didn't get punished for it because of his superstar status. Fast forward to May 2018, and Zlatan was still the same Zlatan. He took his terrifying persona to America, and during a match against Montreal Impact, he slapped Michael Petrasso in the head because the then 22-year-old had had the guts to inadvertently step on his foot. Zlatan slapped the lad like he was a little naughty kid. We could go on and on about the terrifying things the striker has done on and off the pitch, but you get it already. Defenders are terrified of Zlatan because Zlatan is just terrifying. I've never met the man, but I'm terrified too. Anyway, get in the comments and share your favorite Zlatan moment or quote with us. While you do that, don't forget to like and subscribe.